This is a kind of shortened, condensed webinar from yesterday, March 23rd's 2 webinars. I decided to go ahead and record a separate one that's just more straightforward, how to get Minecraft on your Pi. So this is not going to be a full hour, but as each individual case is a little different with downloading Minecraft for your Pi. I want to give you guys the opportunity to watch this, pause, wait for yours to download, pause while you're typing, etc. So it could take you, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to complete this lesson. And we're going to start out with a review with some of the concepts that we've been learning in Python. You will need your Raspberry Pi today, and when it comes time to set up that Raspberry Pi, we will briefly go over that setup again. Here are some of the sites that I used to set up, to create this lesson, some of the resources that I accessed. There's some wonderful resources online, and this is from Raspberry Copilot as well. We have learned 4 different kinds of data types that Python recognizes. The first 2 are numbers, integers and floating point numbers, and there is a difference. Integers being whole numbers and floating point numbers having a decimal. The third kind, Boolean data type, only has 2 different values within the Boolean data type: true and false. And the Boolean data type is used within conditional logic, if statements or if-else statements that we've been using in both Scratch and also in Code Combat. So a condition is going to evaluate down to a Boolean data type. If the condition gets checked, and either that condition will evaluate to true or evaluate to false. You can think about these conditions being like yes, no statements. Really, they're true, false statements. So, for example, a condition could be right arrow clicked. When that condition gets checked, right arrow clicked is either going to be true or false, and it can be used within an if statement. So if right arrow checked is true, do this. Else, do something else. So Boolean, very important, but a little different from integers and strings. Strings are that 4th kind that we learned about. They are characters. Note here that they have those quotation marks, either a single quotation mark or a double quotation mark before and after the value. And while you can perform operations on them, they're useful. They're a way for programmer to post messages, communicate to the user. They're a way to create kind of tags. If you guys remember, in Code Combat, there were tags on certain items, like the door. When you had to attack the door or attack the chest, on that chest or door, there was a little string, door, chest. Those are string labels for that object that then could be used within your code, within those quotation marks in your code, to refer to that object. And that's a property of that object. The property of the door, one of the properties would be the name, and that would be stored in that property would be the string door. It's important to realize, though, let's take a look at this string here. This string says 4, and we understand that this word is the same as this value 4, but Python does not. Python just sees this as a collection of characters between the quotation marks. Apologize about that. It does not see it as having a value. It can't read it. It doesn't understand that it has the value 4. So if you add 4 and 4, the integers 4 and 4 up here, you'll get 8. It understands those values. But if you add the string 4 with the string 4, you'll just get F-O-U-R, F-O-U-R as a single string, just as the characters. Doesn't understand what they mean. So you can combine these values into expressions, and those use operators. So here you have some of the simple mathematical operations that Python understands: addition, multiplication, subtraction, division. This is often how students start to learn programming, is with these simple mathematical operations. And these are actually going to be helpful, even some of the more complicated math operations that Python knows. It might seem like just a calculator right now, not very useful, but it's incredibly useful within our code. We're going to be using these to create shapes like pyramids and rainbows within Minecraft. So see, math can be cool. They have string operators as well. Just wanted to show you that you can add strings together, but they will just combine to one string. And Python does not understand what each individual word, it doesn't understand that you're adding words here, that you would need the space. Space is a character, and you would just need to add it in yourself. There's a space after the Y, space after the name. And when you add that together, you get the spaces. But if you don't include the spaces within the strings that you're adding together, it all is clumped together. Syntax errors. This is like an error in grammar or an error in punctuation. It's the way that the phrase was formed, that it was formed incorrectly. So here the syntax error is Python was expecting another integer or another number after the plus, and it did not get that. It wanted a value before and after the plus. And so I really want to encourage you all, when you get a syntax error, to read the error and try to figure out. They'll give you hints like highlighting a certain area, sometimes in the wording of what's wrong. So as opposed to just giving up, try to figure it out on your own. So most of the time when your code doesn't work, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's not the computer, it's you, it's the code, it's the programmer. You're just not, the computer is going to do exactly what you tell it to do. So a syntax error is an error in the grammar or the punctuation. And a semantic error would be an error in the logic. And those are much harder to find. Syntax error, you're going to get pointed to directly where that error is. A semantics error, which is like an error in logic, that's saying you typed 5 plus 10 perfectly. It's a completely valid expression. Python's going to respond with 15. That's the right answer to 5 plus 10. But you really wanted to ask 5 plus 15. So everything was formed correctly, but you're asking the wrong question. Python is going to get back the right answer to the question that you asked, but you should have asked Python a different question. So I know that's a little tricky to think about, but those are actually much harder to find because you have to comb through your code. Think about having, hundreds of lines of code, and you have to figure out where you just made that small error. But this should not be daunting. You know what? Just take it one step at a time, and this is the hardest part of any programmer's job, is going through and trying to find the errors. First of all, breaking down the problem into steps, but then also, once you think you have it all right, well, in your hundreds of lines of code, there's one error, so how are you going to find it? Okay, so here, this is an example of reading the syntax error to try to figure out what's going on. So I read syntax error, EOL, while scanning string literal. Well, if someone just said that sentence to me, out of the blue, I might not be able to tell you exactly what it meant, or you may not really be able to say exactly what it meant, but I want you to take a look at this syntax error and try to get as much information as you can to see if we can figure out what's going on. So EOL, you might not know this, you could ask me, you could look it up. That means end of line. Okay, that's really the only word you might not recognize. You know while, you know scanning, you know string, you know literal, but you might not know what they mean all connected. So EOL means end of line. So you're going to want to look towards the end of line for whatever your error is. Not necessarily exactly at the end of line, but around it. Could be before, could be the start of the next line. Because sometimes it's just like if you pour purple dye into a river, where as the current carries that dye, the whole rest of the current is going to look purple. Doesn't mean you. So that's kind of like your error. If you put an error in your code, some of the lines below it are going to show that there's an error there too. Definitely for an error like this, where you forgot the second quotation mark, because it's going to make other things into a string because you did that, and then you're going to have a bunch of errors in your code. So that's just saying if if you see purple dye in the river, at some point someone poured that purple dye in. You have to go figure out where it is. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So the other things, okay, so end of line, I know it's going to be around the end of line. And another word I think that you guys could pick out for help would be string. So you know that the issue is somewhere at the end of line, it has to do with the string. Well, what does a string need? 2 quotation marks, you definitely know that. You got the color cue here that this is a string. It recognizes it's a string, but you just are missing that second quotation mark. So I really want to encourage you all, when you do encounter syntax errors, not just to immediately give up, but to try to solve them on your own. And if you've tried and you just can't figure it out, absolutely no issue in asking. It's just how you get to be a better coder, is to try to figure out the problems on your own. All right, so now we're going to talk about how to get Minecraft onto your Pi. So you're going to need, the easiest way to get Minecraft on your Pi is to first set up your Pi with internet. Having a little bit of trouble with the method where you get Minecraft on a regular computer, where you get the file that you need and transfer it over via flash drive. So I'm going to really strongly encourage you to use the Wi-Fi dongle that we sent you home with to access your internet. And if you can't access Wi-Fi, to directly connect your Pi, ooh, something weird's going on there, directly connect your Pi to your router. So this is a link that I sent out to, let me refresh this page. I sent it out on Edmodo, and it's still there. And it's tips on how to set up Wi-Fi with the graphic user interface, or GUI. You guys should recognize that term. But once you plug the dongle in, and I can show you what that dongle looks like. Looks like they don't have it. Picture. It would look like this. USB Wi-Fi and with antenna. So it looks like a little antenna, and it has that USB connection, and it does just plug in to one of your USB slots on your Pi. Now here's a note up top. The SSID is going to be the name of your Wi-Fi, and you need to make sure that it's not private. You have to broadcast the SSID. This should be what your router already is, but if you're having trouble, you might want to ask your parents to help you with that with your router. And if you're still having trouble and you can't figure out how to get your router to broadcast SSID, or you can't figure out if your router is set to private, then you can contact Young Engineers of Today. But most people aren't going to worry about this, so don't try to figure this out first. See if it works. It should. And then if it's not working, this can be something that we go back to. What's that called? Troubleshooting. This is one of the common errors. So we're going to scroll down. So plug in your dongle, and then into your Pi, power it up, and then you should see an icon on your desktop called Wi-Fi config. Double click that. And remember, guys, that watching this recording, you can pause at any step, but I'm just going to keep going. So once you double click the icon, this is the window that pops up. You want to click on the scan button to find your network. Once you do that, a second window will open. So be patient, wait for that. Don't just be as Mr. Duvik likes to say, a sir clicks a lot. Wait, and this should pop up. When you see yours, it's like Linda and Simon, double click it, and another window will open up. You're going to want to enter your password in the PSK field. So that should be, as that pops up, you should see a place to enter the password for the network. And then you'll hit connect. And you can see once that happens, once you hit connect, you'll see the IP address of the Pi at the bottom of the window, which is neat. All right. So hopefully that should work for you. It should be pretty straightforward. The other option, if you lost your dongle or something's not quite working, is this setup right here. This is what's called an Ethernet cable, and it's plugged into the back of your home router. That's how you access internet at home. And that Ethernet cable is connected to the back of here and into the slot next to your USB ports. And I can show you guys what a Ethernet cable looks like. Your home should have one. They should have one that automatically just comes with your router. So that's what that looks like. When you plug this into the Pi, that little switch flip will be towards the bottom. So if you can see here, that clip is facing the table. It's closer to the table than it is to the open air. And it should just snap in very easily. And you'll have to press that clip and pull to release, but in terms of putting it into the device, super easy. Okay, so go ahead, pause until you have internet access on your Pi. Great. Now we are going to talk about how to get Minecraft. Pretty simple after you have internet access to your Pi. You are going to enter the following into terminal. You are going to, oops, looks like I'm a little low on battery. You are going to type, so open terminal, and that's this icon here, LX terminal. And this should pop up. That's your username and your computer's name, and you have the little money sign, that's your prompt. And you're just going to directly type into terminal what's in red here. So sudo space apt space get space update. And then you'll hit enter. And then sudo space apt-get space install space Minecraft-Pi and hit enter. And you will, it should respond with lines there. Don't worry about it. That is showing that it's working though. Changing, so now you have Minecraft Pi. After those two lines, you will have Minecraft Pi on your Pi. Very easy. And changing your directory, these you will only run these two lines once right now to get Minecraft on your Pi. From once you have run these lines, from that point forevermore, as you will play Minecraft, you will be running the cd mcpi and the /Minecraft Pi to open the Minecraft Pi folder. That's what change directory means. It's just like double clicking on a folder to open it. So cd space mcpi and hit enter. And then you'll launch Minecraft by period slash, and that slash is right next to your shift key on the keyboard, and then Minecraft-Pi. Make sure you pause on this screen until you have typed all this code. And what you should see, what should pop up, is this window. And I just want to note here, last thing I'm going to note in this webinar, this recording, the containing window is offset. And you can see that black window back there. To drag the window around, you have to drag the containing window, this back window, around. I would not recommend playing in full screen. I would just play in this version here, in the window. Enjoy it, try it out. It's WASD to walk around. Hit E to access your inventory, and you can use your left key, hold down the left key to mine, right key to place blocks, and just try it out. And on Wednesday, we'll be doing some coding. Good luck. Let me know if you're having any trouble, and worst case scenario, Mr. Dubik can put Minecraft Pi on your Raspberry Pi in lab. You just got to give me the heads up though, so I can let Mr. Dubik know and he can bring a flash drive with Minecraft Pi already on it. Good luck, everybody!